I'm Karen Quan. I'm Mike's sister. And on behalf of the whole Quan family, we just wanted to thank OCA in its entirety, the chapters, the board members, volunteers, the national staff, executive board partners, and of course our members. We know Michael had a special place in his heart for our OCA family. You know, OCA changed the political landscape here in Utah. When Michael started the OCA Utah in 1992, it led to a ripple effect that led to me being elected as the very first Chinese American to the Utah State Legislature. But of course, Michael's mentorship didn't just stop with me. He mentored many Asian and Pacific Islanders. And of course, he also mentored many BIPOC and also people in marginalized communities. To show our appreciation and our gratitude to our OCA family, we think that the best way to do this is to read Michael's own words. So what I have here is a letter that he wrote to many of you, actually. This was after his liver transplant in 2015. And I'll go ahead and I'll read it. This year has been challenging, humbling, and ultimately renewing. The challenge came not from my illness, but from the inability to be independent. It was humbling to have to rely on others, and even more humbling to see how my friends and family rallied around me, how you gave your time and your effort to support me when I needed help. Your generosity has taught me the true meaning of love and of community. I will spend the rest of my life trying to find ways to show you how much you mean to me. Michael W. Quan. And I really do believe that he spent the rest of his life trying to show that gratitude that he had for all of us. And so from our family to your family, from the bottom of our hearts, we say thank you. We love our OCA family.
Good evening, and thank you for attending the OCA National Virtual Summit, Resilient Communities. Welcome to this evening's Chapter of the Year Awards ceremony. My name is Eric Lin, and I am the National Vice President of Chapter Development for OCA Asian Pacific American Advocates. Tonight, we are excited to recognize the important work that our chapters and members are carrying out locally, especially those who applied for the Chapter Excellence Awards.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Hirata, and I am the Chapter and Membership Development Associate. Thank you for watching tonight, and I hope everyone has enjoyed the virtual summit programming over the past few days. This is my first Chapter of the Year awards ceremony, so I'm really excited to help uplift and celebrate the programs and activities that our chapters have carried out locally in 2019. This year, we will recognize first and second place winners for each Chapter Excellence category, as well as first, second, and third place winners for the Chapter of the Year overall category. We will also introduce you to this year's 5 Unsung Heroes. These are OCA members who have served their community and deserve to be publicly recognized for their leadership and service of others. Tonight's awards ceremony is sponsored by Wells Fargo, an active member of the OCA Business Advisory Council and longtime partner. They're great supporters locally and nationally and are dedicated to giving back to the AAPI community, whether it's helping small businesses or promoting AAPI working professionals. Joanna Zhang will be saying a few words on behalf of Wells Fargo.
Hello, my name is Joanna Zhang.
I'm the Asian Segment Strategy Leader at Wells Fargo. 大家好. It is such a pleasure to speak with you in honor of the 2020 OCA Unsung Heroes Awards. During these unprecedented times, I find comfort in knowing that our Asian communities continue to stand strong. I've heard stories of courage, triumph, and perseverance, and I get to see how everyday heroes just like you are truly making a difference in our communities. As COVID-19 continues to spread throughout the US, many historical prejudices that the Asian community has faced have been exposed and magnified by the pandemic. Acts of racism and xenophobia toward the Asian community have increased. But even in the midst of all the hate, our community is inspired by the actions of local leaders and organizations working together to help those in need. We've seen examples like local Asian American communities come together to compile and donate medical supplies, and small business owners who donate their own supplies and equipment to support our community. Selfless actions like these give us hope that our community is helping to make a difference and make a positive impact during devastating times. At Wells Fargo, we are committed to helping Asian customers and communities to achieve financial success. We actively support the Asian community through financial health resources, college scholarships, small business loans, diverse suppliers, in-language services, and support of local and national Asian-focused non-profit organizations like OCA, just to name a few. The OCA has been instrumental to advancing the social, political, and economic well-being of the AAPI community. And all of us at Wells Fargo, thank you for your unwavering commitment to our communities. To do our part during COVID-19, Wells Fargo has donated $175 million to support economic recovery for communities and small businesses affected by COVID-19 through the Wells Fargo Foundation. I want to thank Rita and the leadership at OCA for their commitment and extraordinary work to recognize the Asian community. To all the award winners, it is because of all of you and your diligence that every community in America is getting stronger. And finally, on behalf of Wells Fargo, I say thank you, and let's move forward together. 谢谢.
Good evening. My name is Greg Jung, and I am the National Vice President of Membership for OCA. Tonight, I'll be presenting the Chapter Excellence Award for Membership. We want to recognize chapters who have been building their membership and thinking creatively in outreach to new members and diverse communities. The second place for Chapter Excellence Award for Membership goes to the chapter who doubled their membership last year and intentionally outreached to new AAPI communities. And the award goes to Utah. And the first place for Chapter Excellence Award for Membership goes to the chapter who has outreached to thousands of individuals by participating in and sponsoring community events, effectively building coalitions and growing membership. And the award goes to Sacramento. Great job, everyone. Thank you very much for all the hard work that you do.
Hi, my name is Ed Liu, and I'm Executive Vice President of OCA National. Tonight, I'll be presenting the Chapter Excellence Award for Programs and Projects. This award recognizes our chapter's diverse programs that serve the unique needs of their local communities, as well as the mission of OCA National. This year's second place award for Chapter Excellence in Programs and Projects goes to a chapter that hosts cultural events and community classes and provides direct services to their community. This year's second place award for Chapter Excellence in Programs and Projects goes to OCA Detroit. Congratulations, OCA Detroit. This year's first place award for Chapter Excellence in Programs and Projects goes to the chapter that welcomed us all to the 2019 OCA National Convention and also hosted OCA National's Youth and Professional Development Programming. This year's first place award for Chapter Excellence in Programs and Projects goes to none other than OCA Greater Houston.
Good evening. My name is Roland Wong, and I'm the National Vice President of Public Affairs. Tonight I will be presenting the Chapter Excellence Award for Advocacy, recognizing the work that our chapters have done in amplifying OCA National's advocacy campaigns and advancing their own local advocacy work. The second place for the Chapter Excellence Award for Advocacy goes to a chapter who advocates on anti-bullying, domestic violence, mental health awareness, and LGBTQ civil rights, among many other issues. And the second place winner is Sacramento. The first place for the Chapter Excellence Award for Advocacy goes to a chapter who has led the way on voter registration and census outreach as a Coulter convener. And the first place goes to Greater Houston.
Good evening, advocates. My name is Thong Tarm. I am the National Treasurer. Tonight, I will be presenting the Chapter Excellence Award for Community Building. We want to celebrate chapters who engage and collaborate with community members and nonprofit organizations in their area. It is important for chapters to reach out to other communities of color to work in coalition to provide services and advance OCA's civil rights work. The second place for Chapter Excellence Award for Community Building goes to a chapter who has conducted intentional outreach to serve and collaborate with diverse Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders communities of all generations. An award goes to Utah. Woo! The first place for Chapter Excellence Award for Community Building goes to a chapter who consistently builds strong relationships with local organizations, ethnic communities, and the media. And the award goes to Cleveland! Cleveland rocks! Cleveland rocks!
Hello, my name is Lisa Wong, and I'm the National Vice President of Communications. Tonight, I'll be presenting the Chapter Excellence Award for Innovation. This award recognizes chapters who've implemented new programs and projects in the past year. The second place for the Chapter Excellence Award for Innovation goes to a chapter who implemented a set of programs dedicated to empowerment, education, and mental health for women. And the second place winner is Detroit. And the first place for the Chapter Excellence Award for Innovation goes to a chapter who pioneered 6 new community forums and workshops in 2019. And the winning chapter is Sacramento.
This year, we are also proud to present a new Chapter Excellence Award, the signature event. This award highlights the successful events that OCA chapters host around the country, particularly events that are original to a specific chapter, and fall into one of the following categories: innovation, community building, and advocacy. The third place for the Signature Event Award goes to OCA Utah for their Tackling Anti-Blackness in Asian Pacific Islander Communities workshop. The event was held at the space of a community partner bringing together community members to discuss Black liberation, ways in which Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders uphold white supremacy, and standing with the Black Lives Matter movement. The chapter saw that few other community organizations in Utah were holding events of this nature and stepped up to fulfill this unmet need in the community. The second place for the Signature Event Award goes to OCA Greater Washington, D.C. for their monthly Talk Story event series. The event has been ongoing since 2012, and since then, the DC chapter has speakers monthly to tell their AAPI stories in front of community audiences. It began with community members and elders telling origin and immigration stories, and has since then expanded to writers of Asian and Pacific Islander American literature and filmmakers. They've also partnered with local cultural organizations and has intentionally hosted this event in DC's Chinatown as a way to build community and ground the storytelling tradition in an AAPI identity. And finally, the first place for the Signature Event Award goes to 4 chapters who collaborated to host the Asian Pacific American Women's Conference. The OCA chapters in Long Island, New Jersey, New York, and Westchester and Hudson Valley pulled together for this first-time event. They engaged other community partners and hosted a full day of programming and panels on topics such as identity issues, mental and behavioral health, professional development, and legal issues. A member was inspired to host this event after attending a similar event and finding herself as the only Asian American participant. There was clearly a need for local programming that specifically served our AAPI women. The chapters planned and hosted a wonderfully collaborative event to lift up our communities, and it serves as a wonderful inaugural winner of our signature event.
Next, I'd like to introduce this year's Unsung Heroes, OCA members who have volunteered their time and energy in service of their community. First up, nominated by the Greater Sacramento chapter, Ted Chu. He has been an active volunteer for this chapter since 2003. Ted has been instrumental in tech support and troubleshooting for the chapter. He played a key role in logistics in Houston's 2 recent national conventions in 2009 and in 2019. Additionally, he has provided a tremendous amount of volunteer tech support to the OCA National Office over the years. Ted built and set up servers in the national office, created our AV equipment suitcases, and saved OCA thousands of dollars by personally mapping out the electrical cabling for the building renovations. Here is Ted Chu. Our next unsung hero was nominated by OCA Detroit, Chu Hong. Chu has already received the chapter level President's Volunteer Service Award, meaning that he has clocked over 500 hours of volunteer community service with the Detroit chapter. He leads ACA's Community Garden, where he coordinates a team of volunteers to harvest Asian vegetables that are made available to food insecure families in the community and sold in fundraisers to support health and nutrition initiatives. He also conducts gardening workshops for the AAPI youth to pass his knowledge to the next generation. He has acted as a Cantonese translator for many events and social service workshops, and donates his time selflessly to serve senior citizens in the general community. Here's Chu Hong.
大家好，我是谭柱。首先，感谢美华给我这样的荣誉。美华协会在这里就像我们的一个大家庭，很多人在美国的帮助下解决了很多困难，所以大家都非常热爱美华。由于美华是一个 不牟利的机构，所以他的工作需要大家要支持。所以我希望今后应该有更多的人出来参加美华的义工，使得美华能够一一壮大，更好的为我们服务。我今后也一定会继续尽我的能力帮助美华服务。谢谢大家。
Our next unsung hero was nominated by my own chapter OCA Sacramento, Dr. Bhavin Parikh. Bhavin has brought 20 years of leadership experience and passion for mental health and youth development in his role as chapter vice president of community affairs. He organized a forum on social media and mental health wellness in collaboration with local partners that drew over 200 attendees, as well as another mental health forum the year before called Speak Up, Reach Out, that brought over 28 experts in the field. He worked to create resource guides for community mental health services. Bhavin also regularly mentors youth and college students and recruits diverse youth to participate in OCA programming. Here's Dr. Bhavin Parikh.
Hi, guest. I feel very humble and honored to receive OCA National Unsung Hero Award. I'm very thankful to OCA National Executive Committee for choosing me for this honor. I'm also very thankful to our local OCA leadership for the nomination. I would also like to say thanks to my beautiful wife Shipti, my 2 children, our community, my employer for supporting my community work. I feel very blessed to work for local Sacramento chapter to uplift Sacramento and surrounding communities. I'm involved in mental health, suicide prevention, domestic violence, community outreach, and youth empowerment projects. We have started mental health and suicide prevention initiative for local API community 2 years ago with the goal to prevent stigma against mental health. We want folks to seek help for their mental health issues. Every year we lose 48,000 people, meaning 125 people kill themselves every day. We lose 5 lives every hour. In the world, we lose 800,000 people every year. We got to do something better. Please, let's work together to prevent further death from suicide. Thank you.
Our next unsung hero was nominated by the Chicago chapter, George Wu. In addition to serving as a board member for the Chicago chapter, George has generously donated his time and skills to the broader community. He serves as vice president for the Taiwanese American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Chicago and the pro bono legal counsel for the United Chinese Americans. In the capacity, he has helped Asian Americans facing challenges from overzealous prosecution by the U.S. government. He also volunteers with the Chicago Volunteer Legal Services as an English tutor to Chinese immigrants at the Pui Tak Center in Chicago. He has helped OCA Chicago host the B3 Leadership Summit and MAP training. Here is George Wu.
Hello everyone, my name is George Wu. I'm a board member with OCA Chicago, and professionally I'm an intellectual property attorney. I'm humble and grateful to be selected as one of the unsung heroes of OCA for this year. To be honest, I'm a little embarrassed to be accepting this award as an individual. At OCA Chicago, we work collectively as a team to provide services to a greater community. Among my colleagues I would like to acknowledge are Mabel Menard, the current president, Erwin Cruz, Vinny Van Dam, and many, many others. Also, during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic and economic rivalry with China, Asian American Pacific Islanders are under greater and greater scrutiny and threat. I encourage more of us to stand the gap and fight the good fight against injustice and be that unsung hero. Thank you.
Our final unsung hero was nominated by OCA Greater Sacramento, John Yazutake. John has dedicated his career to civil rights and community service. He's an active chapter board member and brings diverse local connections to collaborate with OCA. He volunteers extensively with local youth groups, organizing and directing youth jazz ensembles to give students exposure to music. as well as youth basketball and youth fishing programs. He fundraises actively for performing arts in local high schools. John is also a member of the Washington State Civil Rights Coalition and lectures at local colleges on race and social justice. Here is John Yusatake.
Hello everyone, this is John Yasutake coming to you from sunny Seattle, Washington. Contrary to what is often said about Seattle, it doesn't rain here as much as it rains in, I think, a place called Longview, Texas. Nevertheless, it is bright and sunny, and again, I'm coming to you from Seattle, Washington. A shout out to Catherine for giving me guidance on how to submit this and do this acceptance speech, but I thought about it, and more than an acceptance speech, it's a thank you speech, and thank you for the recognition, OCA National. Thank you for the to OCA National Board. Thank you very much. To all the other chapters too for the great work that you're all doing nationally, and to my local chapter, Seattle, the Pacific Northwest chapter, King County Seattle version. Anyways, it's kind of overwhelming to get an award as an unsung hero, because the things that you do and the things that you strive for your community, you do because you love the community, and you have a very strong and firm belief on things like race and social justice. And we have come to a zenith in our country about those things. COVID-19 has shown us the real strong fervor of racism that permeates our country. And as I've often said, this country talks very little about race, or shies away from discussions about race because of three things: slavery, genocide that was a policy against Native American Indians, and how immigrants are treated, and so and laws and subjugating persons who come from different countries. And so we know that this is exactly what's happening now. So I guess I will say, before I wrap this up, shout out to everyone: get registered to vote. Talk to the people in your families, your friends, to get registered to vote. Your vote's going to be very important coming up in November. There needs to be a change. I'm not going to get into that discussion anymore. But also, we have a census that needs to be fulfilled. We need to get our numbers counted. Now, back to what I think is a message that I want to leave, is that activism has to continue. We must do everything we can to organize with other groups of color, other groups who have a staunch support of race and social justice issues. This country is facing a moral, ethical crisis. We need to be part of the movement to correct that, and our voices need to be heard. Oftentimes I hear the stereotypical comments about Asians: oh, they're so quiet, they're unassuming, they don't get involved, they don't do this, they don't do that. Well, that's farther from the truth. From what I see and what I know, we have an active role. We play a very important part in this country. So let me say this again: thank you for this award. Thank you for recognizing the work that I've done, and yet and still I know there are many others out there that are as deserving or more deserving of this award. But again, thank you, OCA National. Thank you, OCA chapters across the country, and to my cohorts and colleagues in Seattle. Thank you very much. And the struggle continues. And remember, we've got a couple of things: census, we got to get that vote out in November. So, till then, thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Sharon Wong, and I'm the OCA National President. Tonight, I'll be presenting the final awards. The first is the Emerging Chapter Award for chapters with fewer than 40 members, and then the overall chapter of the year. The second place for Emerging Chapter goes to OCA Greater Cleveland. The Cleveland chapter continues to show that chapters of all sizes have significant impacts in their communities. This chapter has consistently done fantastic work on voter registration and engagement, as well as community building in the greater Cleveland region. The first place for emerging chapter goes to OCA, Utah. The Utah chapter has had an extraordinary year with its strong support of national programs and impressive membership development efforts. Their work to further engage the Pacific Islander community in the region is exemplary. Additionally, their innovative activities in addressing racial injustice has helped set the groundwork for community solidarity in their region. The third place for overall Chapter of the Year award goes to OCA Greater Houston. The Houston chapter has consistently been one of our strongest chapters in the OCA family. They have excelled in programming and support of national advocacy issues. Their Happy Fest, Get Out the Vote work, and Starry Night festivals are amazing examples of the incredible work that the Houston chapter continues to do. Additionally, last year, Houston served as the site of our annual convention and once again rose to the challenge of hosting an astounding convention. The second place for overall Chapter of the Year award goes to OCA Detroit. The Detroit chapter also consistently does amazing work as a chapter and through their 4 service centers. OCA Detroit's work with its numerous community partners has given rise to an impressive array of health, wellness, youth, and senior services. Additionally, the work that the chapter does at the local and state levels is exemplary. And in 2019, the creation of the Women Care and Education Program has set a new bar for innovative programming. The first place for overall Chapter of the Year award goes to OCA Sacramento. OCA Sacramento has risen again to be the overall Chapter of the Year by virtue of its robust program offerings as well as leading advocacy efforts. Among the noteworthy programs, the Stand Up and Speak Out Anti-Bullying Rally, Speak Up and Lead with Pride, the Built to Lead for College Women headline an already impressive array. But the chapter has added 6 new programs ranging from teen leadership development, advocacy for women's rights. OCA Sacramento has continued to grow its membership and strong partnerships with its Business Advisory Council. All this and more has earned OCA Sacramento the 2019 Chapter of the Year.
Kevin, hello.
Earlier. I think we should start without him.
Okay, we'll start without him. Kevin, welcome back. It's nice of you to join us.
Miko said that we should start without you.
Okay, all right.
Whoa.
That brings the 2020 Chapter of the Year Awards to a close. Thank you for watching our awards ceremony and joining us in celebrating our chapters around the country who have adapted their programming and services with agility and skill to respond to changing community needs in these unprecedented times. Likewise, thank you for attending our OCA Virtual Summit, Resilient Communities. We hope you have learned a lot about the ways that this pandemic continues to affect our AAPI communities, politically, economically, intellectually, and in terms of physical health. We hope that our workshops have given you strength and creativity to continue advocating for yourself, your families, and your communities in these uncertain times. This pandemic has fully exposed the flaws in our society, the inequities and structural barriers, showing the cascading effects of COVID-19 that hit certain communities worse than others. OCA is proud to be part of the efforts as our chapters and members serve and advocate for those who are worst impacted by this disaster. As a civil rights and social justice organization, it is our moral duty to stand in solidarity with all communities of color in taking care of our families and neighbors. And I hope that this virtual summit has reminded you of the strength and compassion in this community.